Welcome to Recipes at the Grateful Shed. This time of year when there's frost on the ground, we think here at the shed, barbecue. Well, this past weekend my brother and I cooked a pig on the ground, and we love barbecue when it gets cold. Well, the barbecue that's left over, I look forward to making Brunswick stew. Now, Brunswick stew is like art. Everybody's got their own recipe. You can create your own canvas. You can add or take away what you want. And some people know that the real Brunswick stew that was made the old-fashioned way can take all day. You could start in the morning and get done with it late in the afternoon. But I know that that's not practical. So years ago, I came up with a recipe for Brunswick stew with leftover barbecue that anybody can make. It's not that complicated. I can't even say complicated. That's not funny. It's not that complicated. So you start out with the barbecue. And you can use barbecue pork or barbecue beef, whichever. That's left over. So whenever you cook barbecue, you take what's left over. So there's about 1.5 pounds of barbecue pork that my brother and I cooked this past weekend. And you put it in the pot. Well, then what you do, what's different, instead of boiling raw chicken all day, go to your local grocery store and get one of these roasted chickens. They have great flavor, and it's already roasted. So you've got your barbecue, what you've got left over from whatever function you have, and go get your roasted chicken. The rest of these ingredients you may or may not have already in your freezer or in your cupboard. So I got a chicken that I've deboned that I bought at the grocery store, a roasted chicken. Pour it in the pot.
Off the rotisserie.
That's right, a rotisserie chicken that has a lot of good flavor. You can even put in some skins if you want to from that chicken. Then you take some chicken stock that you can buy at the grocery store, about 2 cups. So we've got about 1.5 pounds of barbecue. We've got a roasted chicken, a small roasted chicken we've deboned. We've got 2 cups of chicken stock. And that takes the place of boiling a chicken all day. Now here are the ingredients, some of the things that makes a difference between this and homemade vegetable soup. There's a lot of similarities, but a few differences. So in the Brunswick stew, you take 1.5 cups of vinegar-based barbecue sauce. Put it in. Woodrow, you can start it up a little quicker. Woodrow's getting a little bit old to cut the mustard.
Who says?
I said it.
Well, I may not can cut the mustard anymore, but I'm still pretty good at trimming turnip greens. Body don't understand that.
I think you might have to be in your 80s to understand that. So we've got 1.5 pounds of barbecue that's already pre-cooked. We've got a whole rotisserie chicken, 2 cups of chicken broth, 1.5 cups of barbecue sauce, 1 onion. I like sweet onions, Valdez onions. That's why I use all my recipes. As it starts to get hot, you add 1 cup, no more than 1 cup, of brown sugar. And that's where we start to have the difference between that and vegetable soup. But a lot of similarities are, I like to use a bag of cut okra, frozen cut okra, it's a 15-ounce bag, a bag of corn, frozen yellow corn. Now a lot of people use butter beans, or what else do they call butter beans?
Lima beans.
Lima beans. But I like to use peas in mine.
And they have several names.
But it don't make no difference.
It's early June peas, it's garden peas, it's 2 or 3 other names that I can't call.
But I use peas in mine. And you can use a 14-ounce can of diced tomatoes. Now, folks, like I told you, that's all right. That's all right. Don't worry about it. It's just like, this is just like art. You can start with your own canvas and you paint any way you want to. But I use a can of diced tomatoes. To make tomatoes a little bit hotter, but we don't like a lot of heat in ours here. We like a little bit mild. And just stir that up.
And tomato and okra makes everything better.
Ain't that the truth? I have never heard anybody say that's too much tomato, too much okra, or too much brown sugar. Yeah. And stir that up. All right, then we go to our seasoning. Worcestershire sauce is a requirement in a Brunswick stew. Use a heaping tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce in there.
And there's nobody knows the origin really of our Brunswick stew, but they figure it started in the early 19th century. But they just can't break down where it came from, the recipe came from.
Yeah, Woodrow was telling me early on, it's like a lot of things that was, a lot of recipes from back in the day, people just used what they had left over.
Yeah.
They used what they had.
What did you just put in there?
Salt.
Okay.
Use salt and pepper to taste. I can give you the amounts, but you can say a tablespoon of each. But salt and pepper to taste. Of course, I like to use cayenne pepper in mine. A good heaping tablespoon of cayenne pepper. Of course, you can make it as hot as you want. We don't like our stuff real hot here. And then you can use real garlic, cloves in this, and saute them before. But I'm trying to make a practical Brunswick stew here. And tonight I'm going to use something to give this is freeze-dried garlic, a good tablespoon of that.
Get a good close-up of this, Mom. See how pretty it is. And doesn't that make your tongue flap?
You put something out on top of your head to make your tongue beat you to death trying to get to it. But that's it. You can make don't be intimidated by Brunswick stew. If you got leftover barbecue, you can use the ingredients you have left over in your freezer or in your cupboard, and you can make a Brunswick stew that's good. It don't have to be real fancy, or it don't have to take you the whole afternoon to make it. Of course, you can do that if you want to, and I do that on occasion. I take all day to make a good Brunswick stew. Like I said, a lot of people use lima beans. I like peas in mine. I don't put potatoes in it because when I make a batch of Brunswick stew, I make it for the sole purpose to freeze it. I put some in some gallon bags and put it up, and I can use it when the guys and I go fishing. I can put it in a cast iron pan and heat it up. And it's a good meal when it's nice and when it's good and cold outside and we're fishing. Just heat it up and it's good to go. Or you can have it there in your home. Just take the bag out, put it in the microwave and heat it up. And it is a good hearty meal. And it's a little bit different. But that barbecue that you fix on your grill, or like my brother and I, we cook it over coals. It adds flavor to everything in it. But when you freeze it, it stays with it. Now here's some that's been made. I made this afternoon. And it's the same recipe. And when it cools off, we're going to have it for supper. And what's left here and what's left there, I'm going to bag up and put in the freezer. And one night when my wife's gone, or for whatever reason, we need something to eat real quick, you can stick that in the microwave and heat it up. I'm going to tell you something, folks. That right there, smells good, tastes good.
Sweet and tangy.
Sweet and tangy. That's a good analogy. It is good. I hope this helps some of y'all. I hope it's practical to you. If you have any questions, please ask. I know some of you folks have got different recipes for this and different ingredients. Feel welcome to comment down at the bottom. We welcome that. We love you, God loves you, and there's nothing you can do about that. Thank you. We love you, and good night.